in no way want to paint being an activist in a negative light or anything like that, because I love it so much. But with every good thing, there comes negatives. Hey guys, it's Ari. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, hello, hi, my name is Ari, like I just said. I post videos about the life of an activist, about life and eating disorder recovery, which is hard, and I'm annoyed with it anyways. And I post videos like any other YouTuber does, DIYs, hauls, all that vibe, challenges, stuff like that. That was an awkward intro. Sorry, I'm like really tired. Do not jump up. My cat wants to be in the video. Hello. You want to be in the video? Would you like to say hello? Look. Say hi. Okay. This is Pilot. I did a pet tag video with him a long time ago, and I don't remember how it turned out, so it might be bad, but you know, you can watch it if you want to get to know my old baby. Okay, I'm gonna finish filming, okay? Anyways, a little while ago, I did a video called the 5 best things about being an activist, and I did say it in that video, but originally, the idea for the video was 5 worst things about being an activist. But I love being an activist so much, and it's changed my life and saved my life, and so I was like, let's do the 5 positives before we do a video about the negative things. Because as much as these 5 things on my negatives list are negative, the positives will always outweigh it. So if you haven't seen that video, it'll be linked in the description and in the pinned comment, or you can just go to my channel and it'll be on there. You can watch that before you watch this video, you can watch it after, you can just not watch it at all if you don't feel like it. But without further ado, let's get into the 5 worst things about being an activist. Number 1, trolls. By the way, these are in no particular order, but I think this probably would be number 1. Trolls / hatred. Trolls. So, when I first got into activism, I did not handle the trolls well. I was very reactive. I was like the perfect person to troll because they would like say something rude or like just try to troll me, and I would react, like I would get so upset, and they would argue, and we would argue for like 2 days on Twitter. That's not healthy. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't give them attention. In the activism community, especially climate activism, on Twitter, there's this thing people copy and paste under people's posts that says like, don't feed the trolls, promote nice comments. There's actually a website where you can put someone's username in and it will tell you the likelihood that they're a bot. And so that's something a lot of people have been doing, is checking if people are bots, because a lot of the times that people are trolling you are actually bots, and then you just report and block. And when you like and retweet positive comments, it puts them to like replies, it puts it to the top of the replies so that people see that instead of the trolling. But I'm a lot better about it now. If someone tries to troll me or says something rude, I'm past the point of trying to prove them wrong, because they're just trolling you. Like, they don't actually want to have a conversation with you, like they just want to be rude. And so trying to talk to them is just going to make everything worse and make you more angry. And so I've learned to just not do that. And like if someone tries to troll me, I just report them and block them. Sometimes I don't even report them because I'm just like whatever, and I block them. But let me tell you, this guy named Michael, he's awesome, he's great, posted it on Twitter today, and so many people were being mean to him in the replies, and I just like could not handle it. Like, be mean to me all you want. Like, I'm just like, yeah, screw you, I don't care, blocked. But when you're mean to one of my friends or one of my mentors, like, I'll kill you. I will kill you. Like, I won't, obviously, but I will in my head, because you're terrible and I hate you. Anyways, sorry, no, like, so for me right now, the hardest part about trolls and like getting hate isn't when it's to me, it's when it's to my friends, because I'm just like, you can hate on me as much as you want and I don't care, but you cannot hate on the people that I care about, because you have no right to make them feel that way. There's also, outside of like trolling and hate on the internet, especially Twitter, there's also hatred in real life. Like, people that I've known almost my entire life, that like it was a vibe and we were tight, like whatever. Once they found out that I like was doing climate activism, oh my gosh, my cat is asleep. So cute. Once they found out I was doing climate activism, they like cut me off. They're like, no, done. Stop talking to me, stop, like, if they had to be in the same room as me, they were like glaring at me. So there's some hate in real life too. Also, like, when we're at strike, we're by a road, and people will drive by and they'll like flip us off, or they'll just straight up yell at us like mean, vulgar things, or they'll like billow black smoke out of their cars, which, fun fact, this could be incorrect. Pretty sure it's correct, but I could I could be completely false, but I'm pretty sure it's correct. The black smoke that they put like out of their trucks is actually, it has less CO2 in it, which is better for the environment. It is worse for your lungs though, so that's not helpful. But yeah, hatred and trolls is definitely, like I said, they're in no order, but it's definitely number one. Number two is activism is very time consuming. Like for me, I strike weekly, so every Friday my day is dedicated to getting to the train station and then getting on the train and riding the hour train ride downtown to the Capitol, and then walking to the Capitol from the train because I don't drive, and then being at the Capitol for however many hours. The times change. Right now it's 3 hours. It used to be like 5 hours when we first started, and so, but being up there all day and then walking back to the train, getting back on the train and riding the train an hour back home, like it takes up my whole day. So Fridays I have off of work. When I got rehired at the place I was at when I got out of the hospital, I was like, I can't work Fridays. I'm just not working Fridays. And she was like, okay, that's fine, because I'm a good employee, so she just let me have Fridays off, which was really nice. But and I work like every other day of the week, so it's fine. But yeah, like Fridays, if you're trying to plan, like if you're trying to hit me up and being like, let's do something, if it's on a Friday, the answer is no. Because it's not only strikes. So strikes are every Friday, but there's like the big global strikes, like the September 20th strike, where we had 2,000 people in Utah, which was amazing and made me happy. Like that took months of planning. The next one actually is on Earth Day, April 27th, and we're having a huge event in Utah, and there's huge events in every country. Not every country, every continent, including Antarctica. So if you want to learn more about all of this and like the Earth Day event, the information for Utah and for global will be in the description, I think, and in the pinned comment. So check the pinned comment. But the next big one is on April 22nd, and so it is, while I'm filming this, February, and we're still planning. We're already planning that. So not only do I have strikes, but I'm going to planning meetings for the like big events that we have, and that takes up time because those are like an hour to 3 hours long. And then there's also events. There's events like the NAME conference, which I did a vlog of, where I was helping to run a workshop. So I have to get, like, it takes time to get down there, it takes time to actually get into the conference. I got my little name tag, and then actually give the workshop, and then finish the workshop. Then you kind of like talk to everyone and exchange information and like hang out. Then like getting home, that was like an entire day. I had a shift at work in the morning, got up early, went to work, got home from work, changed, went to NAME conference, finished my workshop, got home, changed into my work clothes, went back to work. Like, it's hard to fit in your schedule. And then on top of that, not only is there conferences and things where I'm giving workshops, but then there's events that I'm speaking at, like People's Energy Summit or Rally for Accountability and Just Transition. By the way, all my speeches are on my channel in my playlist called My Speeches. And so when I'm giving speeches, not only, again, it's like travel time and actually getting there and being at the event and then getting ready and actually giving the speech, but I also have to take time to write that speech. When I'm giving a workshop, I have to take time to plan what I'm going to be doing in that workshop. And so it takes a lot of time. I also run the website and all the social media for Fridays for Future Utah. So that also takes time, and I do love it, and I think of it as not only like my moral duty and like my job almost, even though I don't get paid, but I think of it also kind of as a hobby. Not as the same where I'm like, oh yeah, drawing's a hobby, because it has so much more weight than that. But I do enjoy it, which is why the time-consumingness of it doesn't really bother me. Like, I love working all day for the climate. I enjoy it, but I know for a lot of people it's really hard, and it's been tough in the past with work to be like, oh, I have an event this day and this day and this day, I'm giving a speech, and then I'm doing a workshop, and then I have strike, and then I have a meeting. It's just like tough with work, but it's been better since I've been back from the hospital, and I think that's just because I'm better at managing my time. Number 3, I accidentally already touched on, which is hatred in real life. I guess I separated it into like Twitter hatred and like real people hatred, but I kind of already talked about real people hatred. But yeah, it's definitely just tough, and like I had, I'm not gonna say any, I always say that, I'm not gonna say any names and then I say names, but I'm actually not going to. I'm really tempted to. No, you're not doing it. Anyways, my family's religious, and I was religious growing up, and then I stopped going to church because it just made me want to cry because the culture is really bad, and because I was dating a girl, so not great for organized religion. Wasn't great at the time, but I still went to the like every week they had like event, like what's it called? A thing for the youth, like a youth activity. I don't know what that was. So I wouldn't go to church, but I would go to the youth activities. And so when I first started getting into activism, and I had been on the news like once or twice, and started like gaining momentum, and it was really fun, and I was just new. I went, and a member of the bishopric, who's they're like in charge of everyone, kind of. It's their job to like make you feel loved and welcomed. And he was like, "Oh, you haven't been to church in a while," and I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What have you been doing?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm actually doing this climate stuff, and I was on the news, it was really fun, and I got to give this speech, and I was talking," and he just was like, went off at me about how climate change wasn't real, and how I was brainwashed, and I was wasting my time, and like, I was like, "Are you seriously saying that?" How old was I? 15? 16? 16? I was 16, and I was like, okay. Like, he was being so rude, and I did not understand why, because I was like, you could literally just not say anything, and it's all about trying to get people to come to church, and I'm like, this does not make me want to come back to church. So it was just really strange, and I got that from multiple members of the bishopric. I was about to say a name. Shout out to you people, I'm not going to say your name. I hope you're watching this, or your daughters are watching this, and they're like, "Hey Dad, was that you that was really mean to Ari?" And you're going to be like, "No, I wasn't." "Yes, you were." Anyways, I need to not tell personal stories like that on the internet, because one of these days someone's gonna see it and be like, "Don't talk about me on your YouTube channel." If you don't want me to talk about you, don't be an ass, okay? Also, I'm really sorry, because I know sometimes kids watch my channel, and I'm sorry that I just said that word. Anyways, number 4 is mental health. I don't remember, did I touch on mental health in my last one? I did touch on mental health in my positives video. But, listen, hear me out. Activism can be detrimental to your mental health, but it's not activism that's the problem. I don't want to say it's you that's the problem, but it's kind of you that's the problem. And I say that because it was me that was the problem. Before I went to the hospital, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, I think I have a playlist called Recovery Videos. At least I should. I probably don't. Anyways, I was in the hospital for 3 months for anorexia, and then I got out, and now I'm out. But before I went in the hospital, activism wasn't good for my mental health. I talked about how I couldn't handle trolls, and I was really bad at that and would get in arguments with people. That exhausted my mental energy, because I was constantly uptight and angry, and I was anxious because I would reply to someone and I would just be anxious until I saw their reply, and then when I saw their reply I would be angry. And so I was constantly surrounded in a dark sludge of negativity is what it felt like, and it was terrible. Luckily that did get better after a different hospitalization. Mental health was thriving last year and every year since I was 13. It's actually good now, I promise. It's actually thriving in real life, not sarcastically. But anyways, so that was really hard for me. And then also just, I felt very alone. You waking up? You waking up? My mom doesn't really believe in climate change, and my dad didn't really get it at the time. And none of my friends really cared. And so I was just really alone. And I was going to strike every week, and there were people at strike, but there's just a few of us, and it was really lonely, and it felt very frustrating. And I would see all the stuff going on in the news around climate change, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and people were denying it it felt even more and more and more and more, and it was just so frustrating. I was so angry, and I didn't know how to cope with just the fact that people didn't understand, that people weren't educated. I didn't know how to cope with that. And so then also, I would use activism as an excuse to do things. So for example, I would be like, "Oh, I don't have time to eat breakfast. I have to go up to strike," when I did have time to eat breakfast, but I just didn't want to eat. And so I would be like, "Oh, I don't have time," and I would go to strike, and then people would be like, "Oh, do you want me to give you a ride from the train station up to the Capitol? It's just a mile or two, but it's all uphill." And I was like, no, I don't want to get in the car for the planet. When in reality, I was like, I'm going to burn some calories by walking 2 miles uphill. And just stuff like that. So it became really, unhealthy, and it was just a vehicle for me to do behaviors. And I see a lot of people on Twitter, youth activists, especially from America, saying, activism has ruined my mental health. I'm depressed. My climate anxiety is through the roof. And it frustrates me because I'm like, you're completely valid in those feelings, and they're terrible. And trust me, I know. But at the same time, I feel like people blame activism when in reality it's no, you need to reassess what you're doing. And another thing I did was I would say yes to everything. And I was still in school. I finished school early. But when I was still in school and I had a job and I was doing activism, and I said yes to everything, every single event ever. it was a lot. And so everything would just clash, and I didn't have enough time, so I never slept, I never ate, which made me feel terrible, like physically and mentally, and then I was already depressed, already anxious, and then it like compounded, and it was just terrible. And I feel like people are like, activism ruined my life and my mental health is garbage. And I'm like, it definitely, like I said, like it wasn't activism, but it was the way that I used activism in my life that made my mental health garbage. So I hate it when people like blame activism for ruining their mental health, but I also like completely validate that, like, I know like your mental health really is bad, and a lot of it is because of activism in your life, but it's not because of activism. It's because our brains are messed up and we don't know how to do activism in a healthy way. So anyways, I'm really sorry if I offended anybody that's like having a tough time right now and like because of activism, but please take a step back, maybe with like a parent or a friend, or if you have a therapist, or if you want to go get a therapist, if you don't, like, and just take a step back and like reevaluate what activism is in your life and how you're using it, if that makes sense. I just really don't want to offend anyone, because like I'm not trying to say your feelings aren't valid or that you're not having a hard time or that you're like being dumb or anything. Yeah. Number five is, what is that last word? I could not read it. Oh yes. Number 5 is just controversies, scandals, like just it's frustrating. Especially with Extinction Rebellion. Let me tell you, when I first heard about Extinction Rebellion, I was like, yes, we are the rebels. We are building tent cities in London. We are taking over the bridges. We are doing this. But then, as time went on, they just did more and more stupid things. And I did a poll on Twitter. Is it called a poll? I think I always called it a poll, and everyone's like, what's a poll? I'm like, it's like the vote thing, and they're like, it's a poll. Anyway, comment down below if you say it poll or poll. I think I'm the only one that says poll. But anyways, I did one of the vote things on Twitter about XR, and there's a lot of good insight in the replies about, I agree with them and their message, but sometimes they don't do things in very good ways. If that makes sense. If you've been following XR, you know about like the subway action, when they dug up the college green, that was a controversy. And there's just like a lot of controversy around them. The one, she's like a founder of them or someone who like flew to another country to do a protest, and it's like, you literally flew, which I fly because I'm a minor and my parents make me fly, and I try to buy carbon offsets for it, so I'm like, I get it, like you have to fly. But at the same time, sometimes you don't have to fly. So there's just like, especially with XR, which makes the whole climate community look super bad, there's controversies or like scandals. And then there's things with Greta that people try to like bring up and make a scandal about, even if it's literally nothing and they're making it up. It can still become big enough that it's like, oh, there's a scandal. And it's just really annoying. And there's also like, and I'm not going to be spilling any tea about this because that's just stupid. But there's also like interpersonal and like interorganizational, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Beef, basically.
Tell your boyfriend if he says he's got beef that I'm a vegetarian and I ain't scared of him.
What is the word? Not beef, like the actual word, like tension. I don't know. Anyways, but it really actually makes me angry that there's so many like school strike organizations, because I'm like, okay, you have 1 million people, you have 1 million people, if we all just combined into one, the original school strike organization, we would have so much more power. But it's hard because like there are conflicts between organizations, and it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating because I'm like, we're all working towards the same goal, but like this organization is like, well, we're our own organization because they want to be special. They're like, we're not a part of your organization, we started our own organization. And I'm like, you're not, stop trying to be special. Like, we need to work together. And then other organizations will be like, oh, well, we're gonna do this thing on this day, and the other organization's like, we're gonna do it on this day, and we're like, well, no, we have to do it on the same day. No, it doesn't matter. And it's like a whole fight that goes on, and then like everyone from this organization hates everyone from this organization, and they try to make up, and it's like, it's a disaster. It's just annoying. And of course that happens in every aspect of life. That's just life. People argue and disagree, especially when it's like groups of people, because it's like an us and them mentality. But it's annoying. And there's also like interpersonal things, like, I mean, I'm gonna try to be super vague because there are specific incidents that I don't want to be talking about on the internet because it's none of my business and it's not something that needs to be broadcasted, but like where people will say or do things that are completely inappropriate, whether that's in like an illegal inappropriate way or just in like a rude like screw off inappropriate way. And they'll do that to each other, or people just, tensions behind people will start fighting, and it's like, again, we are all on the same side. We're in the same organization. Even if we're not on the same organization, we're all on the same team. We're working towards the same goal, and if we're not unified, we're gonna fall apart and not accomplish anything. So yeah, that's number 5. Just the like scandals and controversies that go on the big screen, and all the little tensions and controversies that goes on like behind the scenes, just in between people. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed that video. I know I've said it 100 times, but I love activism so much, and all the positives outweigh the negatives in a million ways, but you know what? It can be annoying. All these things on this list, they annoy me, like, seriously, all the time, daily, maybe weekly. And so yeah, you know what? I wanted to make a video about it. I wanted to make a video about the negatives and worst things about activism, because it's hard. I mean, I went to the hospital, like, it was obviously hard for me. It's hard for a lot of people. And I just really enjoy making activism videos. I enjoy making these top 5 videos. I have, like, literally not that much of, a few of. And I just thought this would be fun to make. So, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like the video. It's the thumbs up thing. It looks like just like this, but it's gray. But when you click it, it turns blue. So if you want to see it turn blue, just like the oceans that are rising, click the like button. If you did not like the video, why did you watch until the end? Go make a video that makes go watch a video that makes you laugh, or makes you smile, or at least entertains you if you don't like this one. I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for all the support on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Twitter, and thank you so much for just watching the video and liking it. That helps me so much. If you want to comment, that also really helps me out, and I want to hear your thoughts on any of this stuff. If you disagree with me, please be respectful, but go ahead and like say it, and we'll talk in the comments. Again, respectfully, we'll have a nice conversation. We don't need more controversies. But I do want to hear your thoughts if you want to give me your thoughts. If you don't, then that's okay. Click off, go watch another video. But yeah, one more time, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to subscribe to see more activism content, or just more of this face of mine, go ahead and click the red subscribe button. Turn notifications on, turn them off. I don't really care. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and peace out.
I wanna go somewhere alone, feeling the pressure in my bones.